And ESPN Analysis, when writing about the Pittsburgh Steelers next season, has named George Pickens, wide receiver, as someone who's have a breakout year and help the team in a big way. So, before I get into what he said, let me just tell you what the rookie wide receiver put up last year in his numbers, just in case if you don't know his exact numbers. So, he played in 17 games and he started 12 of them. He had 84 targets for 52 receptions and 801 yards. That's 15.4 yards per reception. And he also had 4 touchdowns and all those other amazing catches that he's had, like the one-handed catches and those toe taps on the sideline. Some amazing catches and really good contested catch person. Now, let me tell you what a direct quote from Bill Barnwell, an ESPN analyst, said about George Pickens. Here it is. Nobody had it harder in 2022 than George Pickens. He had the lowest expected catch rate of any receiver in football. If he has easier throws to catch in 2023, he could unlock a new level from a possible star receiver. So that's what ESPN analysis had to say about George Pickens' upcoming season. And it's absolutely true, because when you think about it, George Pickens, who came out of the University of Georgia, was a wide receiver who was dealing with an ACL injury his final season in college, and he came back for the national championship, but all throughout, he was dealing with an injury. And this season, just knowing that you're coming off an ACL injury, your first season back is always the toughest. And the fact that he was able to put up so much production in his first year off of that ACL injury, he's only going to get stronger and be more of a better route runner and be having more burst off of that leg. Yes, you're still recovering the first year off of ACL injury, so now coming off a second year and him only being a sophomore year and putting up that much production in his rookie season only holds good things for the Steelers. And also, the fact that the Steelers were able to get him with the 52nd pick in the second round was amazing. Usually, wide receivers of his talent would go in the first round, but everyone was scared to pick him because of his apparent attitude problem that he had in college, which was not true at all. And based off his injury history. But the Steelers were willing to take that risk, just like they were on Darnell Washington this year and some other players in this year's draft as well. They are willing to take that risk, and so far it has been paying off. So hopefully now he's able to take that another leap that ESPN says that he will take. Now, going back to Bill Barnwell's quote about George Pickens, saying that he was put in bad situations and he had the lowest expected catch rate of any receiver in the NFL, that was true. And on top of that, Pickens' catch rate overall was 61.9 last season, putting him in a similar bucket with fellow rookie wide receiver Christian Watson. And when you think of Christian Watson, all of his catches were wide open. He had so many touchdowns, but he was always wide open on streaks. And the fact that George Pickens' catch rate was basically the exact same as his is a good thing, because that means that he, even though he wasn't open, had a good catch rate compared to a wide receiver who was open all the time. And it puts him in a similar category. And also, when you look at George Pickens' yards and total production overall, it could have been way better. The Steelers started off with Mitchell Trubisky, who played really poorly his first few games, and then moved on to rookie quarterback Kenny Pickett. So of course, with quarterbacks being in and out of the lineup and not really having a certain quarterback to start until Kenny Pickett made his debut, the Steelers wide receivers were uncertain of who was going to be at quarterback and if they're even going to get the ball. And if you remember, many games in last season, George Pickens did not even get targeted in the first half or even 3 quarters of football. All of his targets would come in the fourth quarter. There are many times where he was barely even targeted in the game, and that you could see him getting angry on the sideline. Remember that whole thing where he was angry because he wasn't getting the football? That's because he wasn't getting targeted sometimes at all. So his production on the field, even though he had a good and solid rookie season, in the sophomore season, if he actually gets targeted and the scheme is to go to him and to throw him the football, and they build more of a bond together, and a stable connection between Pickett and Pickens, the connection there could be so much better, and the stats for Pickens could be absolutely fantastic. because sometimes he wasn't getting targeted, like I said. So hopefully that doesn't happen and he actually gets targeted throughout the whole game and not just in the fourth quarter when the team needs it. Like I said, the schematics of the routes for George Pickens, he was basically only running vertical routes last season, especially early on. Early in the season, he was ranked first in the most vertical routes in the NFL. And that's not just vertical routes down the field, that's just streaks where he's going in a straight line. If the coordinator and the quarterback and the whole system in general uses him to his scheme and uses his to his great abilities, he'd be so much better in a better position and not just running streak routes. Yes, we know he can make contested catch opportunities into a better opportunity, but do you really want him to have contested catch opportunities every single time? Don't you want him to get open on free routes and see what he could actually bring to the table instead of just having him always in bad situations? So hopefully this season he's able to produce even better with more opportunities and a better system around him. Also, one last thing before I wrap this video up. Even though I said Pickett and Pickens' connection wasn't as strong early on, throughout the season it got better and they built a strong connection. The Steelers didn't fully begin to utilize that connection until around Christmas Eve against the Las Vegas Raiders, where Pickens caught the game-winning touchdown from Pickett with 47 seconds left in the game. That really built a strong connection, and that's where Pickens and Pickett really stood out, and that connection, people really thought it could be a great thing for future years to come. So even though Pickens, he didn't get targeted early on in games, late in games, he was someone that Pickett could trust, and he knew he could make plays on the ball and put the Steelers in a great position to win the game. And that's exactly what he did against the Las Vegas Raiders when the Steelers made that comeback to spark a late push in the season to almost making the playoffs. So, with all this being said, the video is going to come to the end. But I want you guys to comment down in the comment section below. How do you feel about this? How do you feel though ESPN says that George Pickens is a breakout candidate for next season and his production could be through the roof if Pickett improves as well and he gets more targets? How do you feel about this? Do you feel as though there's not going to be any more outbursts on the sideline because Pickens will actually be utilized? Or do you believe that Pickens, he's still going to be struggling a little bit until he finds his footing with his route running and the Steelers offense actually targets him more? Which one do you feel? Do you feel as though he's going to be a breakout candidate, or do you feel someone else's? Let me know down in the comments below. Me personally, now that George Pickens has found his rhythm in the Steelers offense and Kenny Pickett seems to be on a good connection with them, I see no reason why George Pickens can't be a 1,000-yard receiver for basically the rest of his career when he stays in Pittsburgh and the connection continues to build and they get better together. He's such a young wide receiver and he was coming off an injury his previous year. So now him being 100% back to normal and having a full healthy season under his belt, only good things will happen for him and the Pittsburgh Steelers offense in general. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below as well if you like Steelers content and analysis reports. Like the video, turn on post notifications down below for the channel as well so you get notified whenever I post next Steelers video. I cover everything Pittsburgh Steelers news, rumors, and reports, and everything like that. I covered everything in this off season, from the draft, free agency, all the new players we added. I done player reports on them, what they could bring to the table, their background situation, where they came from, and stuff like that. So I introduced them all to the Steelers. If you want to go see what they're all about, they're on the channel, so go ahead and watch it and just know everything moving forward, whether that be trades in season or anything else, news, rumors, reports. I'm covering all. This is the best place for Steelers news, and I'm repeating the whole cycle back until next off season. So like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys all later. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.